Hey everybody, welcome to Perspective. That's right, another King's Quest chapter's out, and we finished it. In case you haven't seen our perspectives up to this point, you can check out Chapter 1 here, or Chapter 2 here. So what do the Odd Gentleman and Sierra have in store for us in this chapter? Well, it's the Queen's birthday, and Gwendolyn is trying to come up with a good birthday gift. So she asks her grandfather, King Graham, about how they met and got together. Get ready for some magic in this chapter, and go find Cupid to take some aim, because this is my perspective review for King's Quest Chapter 3, Once Upon a Climb. The game plays the same as the previous chapters. You simply walk around, collect items, learn where they go and how they're used. You have some puzzles that you need to figure out, and all the while, you're trying to woo the future queen. The environment is as creative and wondrous as the last two chapters, and also branches out to the other chapters, keeping some of the same locations. And of course, some of the same characters are back, and they do another awesome, fabulous job with this chapter. In this chapter, you will learn more about some of the other main characters, and you see how the bond between them and Graham has grown. Alright, so here is your spoiler warning. As usual, I'll be leaving this up to let you know that there's spoilers afoot. You can skip to where this sign is gone if you don't want to be spoiled. Are you ready? Here we go. So the game starts you out with you as young Graham, with the look from Chapter 1. You're simply walking a path. In the next screen, you're young King Graham from Chapter 2, and in the last screen, you're Chapter 3's King Graham. He looks much more muscular and filled out and buff and stuff. The whole point of this scene is basically some sort of cause and effect. In the last screen, an owl gets taken by a large purple squirrel. I think they're called Wetzels. You have to go back to each version of your younger self to figure out how to save the owl. I'm not sure how this connects to the actual story. It kind of seems like it could have just been left out, but maybe it's a way to show you how things that you have done will affect the world in the future chapters. If so, that's really cool. If not, then I guess they just needed some more time and decided to throw this in. Either way, it's clever. So afterwards, Graham is at dinner. He invited some of his friends, like the baker and the alchemists and the blacksmith, but nobody showed up. So Graham is lonely. The magic mirror gives him a vision of his future wife, and he's raring to go. In a kind of fun but also quick way, you see Graham moving through the world in order to get to the location where his future wife resides. It's basically just a scenery show. There's not really anything to get. It's simply meant for you to see how far Graham has traveled. But it's not dragged out, and it is kind of fun to see where he goes. Like I said, the visuals are amazing. So this is just an extra opportunity for the game to show you the world. Then you get to the tower, and Graham can finally climb. Climb all the way up to the tower to meet your future bride, Valenice. But in this case, brides, plural. There are actually two girls up there, and you have to pick which one you would like to seduce more, I guess. So once you do pick, Graham proposes right away. When he's turned down by the first one, he will try the other girl and repeat his attempt. It's kind of embarrassing just to watch him do it, but it's also kind of funny. You find out that the girls and now Graham is trapped in the tower by magic that only true love can break. Then the tower starts to shake and it actually moves. It's basically, I don't know, this big bird creature thing. I'm not sure really what's up with it. I mean, where's this thing going? Nobody seems to know. Maybe it just likes to change its scenery or something. I don't know. Anyway, aside from the two girls, there's also a witch named Hagatha who appears to be in control of the tower to some degree. She treats the two princesses as sort of like daughter figures, and when she sees you, she thinks you're also a princess. So congratulations, you joined a family and changed your gender all in one day. Your goal right now is to make the other two girls like you. This is where the majority of the game takes focus. You have to woo one of the girls. You can try to be on both of their good sides, but you will likely favor one over the other because some of the things you have to do for them can only be done for one of them. The witch Hagatha has a way for them to temporarily leave the tower, and she uses it on the princesses to have them fetch items for her. Graham sneaks in and uses it to talk to one of his friends in Daventry. We spoke to Amaya, the blacksmith, for some advice.
Hold your snoots, Muscles. You came in here to ask me about the mushy stuff?
I did.
On purpose?
And for a tool to fix one of the girls' items. We had to choose between V's puzzle box or Niece's loot. We chose Niece. After a while, we get to explore Hagatha's room. We learn that she's actually not a monster, but instead she attempted to use too many potions, and the misuse had turned her into what she is today. You find out that she was basically Rapunzel, but in the story, no one came to save her. She has this magic mirror in her room, which shows you a younger version of whatever it's shown. Because of this, you end up learning that Manny is actually a goblin. He was swapped with the human from the previous chapter. You also learn that he and that same human are working together. They're planning some kind of scheme while also staying at the cavern that the dragon from the first chapter was imprisoned in. After talking, playing games, helping repair things, dancing, and doing several other things for the girls, Hagatha decides that you and one of the other girls should go out and collect some items. After you collect an item, you then go out with the other girl and collect a different item. With V, we ran into the Cobblepots. They ended up giving us a book that Hagatha actually wrote. We bond a little bit with V over some puzzles, but we kind of ruin it when we outdo her in our little shooting contest. With Niece, we fall down a hill, create a makeshift sled, and then run into Princess Madeline of Avalon, the squirrel. Her and her furry little friends lead us to the item, where we then have to play a song on Niece's lute in order to get. We ended up focusing our romantic interests on Niece, and at this point of the game, she liked us too, and we shared a kiss. However, the kiss ended up not being enough to break the spell. When we tried to leave the tower, it wouldn't let us. That night, Whisper came to the rescue and helped us make a Mad Lib poem of romance.
Our love smells like a funny wild snoot, and your ears are like, oh, Limburger. Love, Graham.
He was able to leave the tower because
Whisper truly loves Whisper.
We were able to get into Hagatha's grandfather clock by changing the time on it, thanks to the magic mirror and the book that the Hobblepots gave us. This allowed us to get some of Hagatha's personal things, and we were able to bond a little bit with her. We tried to convince her to leave the tower by giving her the love poem, but she was not able to leave alone. However, with our help, she was able to leave. Okay. This I don't understand. Whisper, I can get. He loves himself. But why could she leave with Graham? We didn't share a bond, really. And if that bond was good enough, why couldn't we leave with Niece? I think we love her more than we do Hagatha. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, when we do leave, the tower begins to explode. Hagatha lets us use her adventuring rope to climb the tower again. This time, to save the girls. There are two things to note from the last cutscene. First of all, V's hand is now like ice, basically. I'm not sure how this will play out, but I am pretty sure that it'll have some effect on one or maybe both of the remaining chapters. I mean, the next chapter does look like it's going to be something snow-related. I kind of think she's going to have something to do with it. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, second and last is that Manny and Hagatha made a potion for him. At the last cutscene, he ends up using the potion, and it seems like it has made him human. What will this mean for Graham? I guess we'll find out in one of the next chapters. The thing about this chapter is that it's mostly speaking, or some kind of cutscene. There's not a whole lot of running around, and it's fairly clear what you need to do. Talk to the girls, get an item, figure out a puzzle, etc. While the other chapters might have had clear goals, it was not always clear about how to go about those goals. In this chapter, things were very simple. Normally, I would have an issue with this, but it really works in this chapter. You're more invested in Graham's relationship with the girls than you are about how to go about the puzzles. The general feel of King's Quest is still there, and arguably more so since there's a bigger presence of magic and fairy tale. You feel the world more than you see it, and that makes the experience more intimate, and you get more invested in the characters. You end up loving the girl that you pick because you picked her just as much as she picked you. All in all, this is a great game. It's definitely my favorite chapter so far, and I think it's because of the characters. You of course have the characters that you're already familiar with, like Amaya, the Cobblepots, and Wenty and his wife. You even have Graham, and you see him growing and maturing, but he still has this youth about him. But then you meet the two girls, Vi and Nice, and you're made to choose one of them to be your wife. You make mistakes and embarrass yourself, but then you get to know them. And you instinctively want Graham to pick one over the other and have that one pick Graham in return. This chapter did a fantastic job of developing these two characters in such a short time. The chapter simply would not work without the hard work that was put into Vi and Nice. With that said, this game, King's Quest Chapter 3, Once Upon a Climb, gets my perspective rating of Legendary. If you haven't seen our playthrough of Chapter 3 yet, click here. There's a lot of stuff that I left out in this review, little details of other story elements, but I wanted to focus on what the game focuses on. So to get the full experience, click the link. It's not a long chapter, and it's mostly story. There's not a whole lot of commentary that we do on it other than trying to figure out what to do, really. So it doesn't take very long to get through if you haven't already. And it's a fun chapter. I love this chapter. Like I said, legendary rating. And if you like what you see, click that subscribe button. We're still working on the show, trying to make it even better than ever, and we need your support to make it happen in more ways than just one. But in the meantime, here's a question. Who would you want to be your bride-to-be? Vi or Nice? Anyway, I hope to see you soon. Check back soon for the next chapter. We post Dimples Does on Thursdays. And make sure to be back Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays for other videos too. Then you'll see how cool we are. Cool we are! We are really cool, yeah! Alright, that's so good. That's so good!